October that the crowd was completely sold out, and there were hundreds outside the stadium chanting his name. And really, to play Edberg on a clay court, which is certainly not Edberg's best surface by a very long way, is an opportunity, really, for the game to judge quite what is his potential on this surface. I think I'd underline on this surface. 4-3, first set, Edberg.
Well, Edberg's in a real stew with his serve. He's hit 9 successive faults on his first serve and was in trouble himself on his previous service game, break point down. And in a way, lucky to get out of it, and therefore celebrated with the break of Rios' serve.
Quindi ci pare 15-all.
He's never compromised, even on clay, the slower surface of them all. He's a serve and volleyer by instinct, and by and large, with only certain refinements, he serves and volleys whenever he can on clay.
Well, you can see how much more confident Edberg suddenly feels having got in 2 first serves. Notice the way that Rios slides into a typically clay court. Of course, there are a lot of clay courts in Chile, so this is a surface certainly not foreign to him. Well, these courts fairly hard. This one perhaps not as hard as the old centre court. There's a bit more sand on the surface here, which makes it a little softer, but still you can see the amount of bounce that Edberg gets in his smash. Indicates how hard these courts are.
5-3, Edberg, first set. I must say that the early years I came out here, and you were playing in those days, Jaworski seemed to be playing most of the time, 4- and 5-hour matches, or Merlo or somebody like that, always from the back of the court. And people like Neil Fraser would come over and say, why do the serve and volleyers not have the courage to play their own game on clay? Because they should. What was your view on that?
Yes, I think the problem really was that there weren't too many continental or European serve volleyers. It took the Australians to show them how to do it. And some Americans, although they tended not to play here.
Having said that, I think it should be underlined that in the last 2 or 3 years, the Italians have tried hard to harden up these courts and quicken them up so that you get a higher bounce and the ball comes through quicker. So they're not the agonizingly slow red dust that they were by tradition. You knew exactly what he was about.
Well, I'm sure you've been able to tell that there's quite a bit of showman in Rios. He's a bit of an Agassi clone, a left-handed one. And really, I think it's his showmanship that cost him the point there, because he had this shot here. I think he was trying to toy a little bit with Edberg, and it cost him.
Quindi 40.
15-40, 2 set points to Edberg. he volleyed straight onto the best backhand pass you'll see. And that's the first set. Edberg takes it by 6-3.
You're watching.
Considering he's had such a disappointing few weeks on clay. It's his third clay court tournament of the year, and he's lost early on at the others. Well, 1/4.
Well, there's quite a dramatic change come over this match because Rios had break point down. Edberg wasn't getting a first serve in play. Suddenly, Edberg's broken through and feeling a lot more confident. But I still have the feeling he's got to do a lot of work really to oil his serving.
Quindi si pare 16-0. Prima selezione, first service.
Immediately he gets that serve in, there's that much more pace on it naturally, and it almost seems as if he thrives on the greater pace, Edberg.
Rios needs to have an old head on young shoulders here, because this is as good a chance he'll get.
Almost a running lap of celebration there by Edberg. Rios did have him in a previous game, 15-30, and he sort of mishit a second serve for an ace, Edberg.
Serving got him out of trouble there. And Edberg, who's already a set-up, is 1-love up in the second set.
Into it these days as he used to. I think that's in his favour, and I think what one has to bear in mind here is, in looking at Rios and his ability to take advantage of the many second serves that Edberg is throwing at him, he's a very short man, Rios, 5'8". And with a double-handed shot on his backhand side, he needs to take the ball a little bit earlier than he's been doing, because standing back as he's doing, with Edberg getting the hop on it, he's having to play these second serves really far too high for his comfort.
They're saying this is Edberg's third clay court tournament of the year. Rios, of course, has brought up on this stuff, and you would expect to make hay whenever he plays on it. Love one. You'd have thought Rios might have known you don't go to the net on Edberg's backhand.
Yes, and also hitting the ball quite as short as that to the man's strength. Edberg finding quite a bit of room down the lines, and bear in mind, as I said, that this chap is fairly short, and therefore there generally is room down the lines against a short player.
I must say, I really have been surprised by the way Rios played the first 2 points in this game, going in on both occasions. That's hardly the way a clay courter should be taking on Edberg. I thought he needs to keep him out there playing difficult shots, difficult angles from the back of the court.
Well, I think together they make for delightful play, and I think part of Rios's beauty really is the fact that he tends to want to play his own game, play his own shots. I think therefore he feels a lot of confidence in his own ability. It makes for a good match, but it doesn't necessarily make for winning tennis.
2-love Edberg, and 1 set to love.
Well, even though he missed that, there's a fair amount of pace on that shot, and I think the potential is there in this man.
Yes, I just question whether Rios is showing much savvy at the moment by going for the lines and trying to take it on Edberg at a game that Edberg's clearly much better than him.
Yes, I think it's just a matter of disciplining, really. I think he's quite content to try and play his own game, show his own shots here, Rios. And one's got to bear in mind that Santiago, where he learnt his tennis, is very high altitude, and therefore one can play a fair amount of net game there, as of course you can at somewhere like Mexico City. The point really is, I suppose, that if you're determined to play your own game, there must come a stage when you're so far down that you realize and tell yourself that this game is not winning, therefore perhaps change.
Going unexpectedly well, I'd have said, for Edberg. 3-love, 1 set to love. Fox is going to do about changing a losing game.
Yes, it's a matter really of what he has to do with his talents, and I think one of the things he has to learn is patience.
Good wrists.
And hit it for an outright winner sometimes.
Didn't go over.
Well, you get the feeling that Edberg almost wished for his opponent that this might have gone over, because how well he played it. He was really in the most desperate of situations. Look how close to the ground it was, and yet showing wonderful hands to come as close. Edberg's backhand just hurrying through a little because it skidded through the tape. Yes, concentration just wavering, particularly at 40-15, 40-30 there, I think.
Generates real pace, doesn't he, with a wristy sort of action.
Yes, as you said, he's got snappy wrists and can really give the ball a good clout, but it's a stylish clout. I think with all those gaps to the side of the short man, I think he may be better off really attacking Edberg right down the middle of the court, cutting off the angle.
It's going to be out. Persisted well again there. and reduced the margin to 3-1 in the second set. Just while we're coming towards the heart of the European clay court season, it's interesting to note that at Bournemouth at the West Hants Club this week, the Rover British Clay Court Championships taking place. That's for the women, but also alongside the men's Masters satellite event. Clay courts, the LTA have had put down after years of shale. It's a trend. Not quite like this, though, although it's clay.
Quindi 0, 15 love.
Edberg, perhaps more than any other player, I feel, relies on hitting a good serve. And it's been his undoing in the last 18 months or so. Well, he's a bit concerned about the ball being soft. Well, with breaks in the second serve, it hardly seems that he's troubled, but we know different, and that's the way to really hammer home the advantage and the message, too, that you're not serving well, Edberg.
40-30.
Good service game by Edberg. I don't think Rios has quite worked out where Edberg's going to serve to. 4-1 Edberg and 1 set to love. Success this year in Monte Carlo, his first clay court tournament of the year. He lost to Santoro, who yesterday beat Sampras, of course, in the first round. He lost to Santoro there the first round. In Munich, the second tournament, he lost to Stich, did rather better. That was a quarter-final. But he's played well today, Edberg, I must say. Still Rios from Santiago is serving a set down and 1-4 down.
Quindi 0-15 love.
He's got this short little preparation on his left-handed serve, Rios. He doesn't take the racket back in a full flowing swing, abbreviates it.
Typically, Edberg hustling him. Rios, by instinct, would rather play cagey rallies. Doesn't want to have to make quick shots, no preparation.
Well, it's a much more studied rally, that, by Rios. Wrong footing Edberg. I think he'd be better off doing a lot more of that.
Saw it coming. 4-2, Edberg.
Edberg conduce 4 giochi a 2.
Yes, you could see it all unfolding in front of you, and yet although Edberg had read it, the point is that Rios had such a feathery touch on this that he was able to slide it across Edberg.
Rios's ranking last year jumped over 400 places. That shows you what a sudden mark he's made on the game at this level.